Today's leadership lesson is developing leadership teams. When developing a leadership team, there are several important considerations that one must keep in mind. A leadership team should be the lifeline for any leader. This process and product is extremely important for several reasons. Selecting the right people is key. Leaders must be continuously developing leaders around them. Effective leadership comes from diverse thinking, and leaders must be the voice and ears of people within the organization. Jim Collins, in his book Good to Great, talks about getting the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and the right people on the bus in the right seats. This is crucial with leadership teams. Selecting the right people for the job is key. Here are some things that I look for when selecting effective leaders. Number one, people with vision, people who can see what can be, not just what is. Problem analysis is important, but we need people who can see beyond the problems and see the possibilities. We need people who are committed to action. In life, I've found that there are two kinds of people, thermostats and thermometers. Thermometers just take the temperature of the room and do nothing about it. But thermostats take the temperature and then get it to where you want it to be. That's what we need on our leadership team. In addition to seeing the problems and possibilities, we need people who are committed to action. Vision without action is just a dream. Dreaming is important, but the people in our organizations expect more. They expect that we will actually accomplish goals and objectives and make things better. We need people with diverse views. There's no room for yes men or yes women on our leadership teams. We need to strategically select people who think differently, who will help us create richer solutions. This will ensure that our decisions are more likely to be effective because they've been filtered through a finer sieve. Though this will make it difficult for bad ideas to slip through the cracks. People who represent the diversity of the organization or community is crucial. We need people who see themselves in the leadership organization. If they don't, they'll begin to question whether their views have been considered. This will lead to division and low morale. We need people with integrity. Leadership is messy. It requires vulnerability. You have to know that your leadership team has your back even when you mess up. And you need to have people that are trusted by other people within the organization. If people don't trust the leaders you have around you, they begin to question their trust in you. As senior leaders, we must always be trying to work ourselves out of a job. We must do this by making sure we are equipping leaders around us to do the important work of the organization. We can accomplish this in several ways. We need to regularly look at what we do and ask ourselves the question, can somebody else be completing this work? If the answer is yes, we need to survey the organization and see who we can identify who might have the passion or preparedness to complete the task. It's more important for them to have the desire and determination than it is for them to have the skills. You can qualify the called, but it's much more difficult to call the qualified. Leaders cannot be lone rangers. Leaders need to have skilled leaders around them. While some people are born with leadership or with traits that help them to be effective leaders, I believe that much of leadership is learned through the skill and attitude development and modeling. We need to provide meaningful opportunities to learn how to be an effective leader. Senior leaders must take time to not only do the work of the organization, but to make sure there's time on our leadership meeting agendas for information about how leaders can become better leaders. We can read books together from well-known accomplished leaders. We can send people to conferences and have them present the key information that they gleaned from the conference to the leadership team. We can take leaders with us to meetings and other leadership experiences to model for them effective leadership behaviors and attitudes. Most of what I've learned about leadership has come from watching and being a student of great leaders. Effective leadership comes from surrounding yourself with people who think differently than you do. We probably all participated in the NASA exercise where individuals rank a list of 15 items in their order of importance if stranded on an island. The participants then get into small groups and create a new list based on the consensus of the group. Almost without fail, the group comes closer to the order of the NASA experts than the individuals do. This exercise illustrates the old adage, 2 heads are better than 1. As leaders, we have strengths and weaknesses. We need to make sure that leaders on our leadership teams think in ways that we don't, because you can be sure that not everyone in our organization thinks like we do. We have to have diverse voices on our teams. We hear the diverse perspective that is evident in our organization. The last point I'll make today is that we need leaders who are connected to people within the organization. It is the responsibility of our leadership team to be the voices and ears of the organization. If we as senior leaders are going to lead effectively, we must know what's going on in the minds of the rank and file members. This is accomplished by our leadership team in developing strong and trusting relationships with people in their circles of influence. These relationships will permit the members of our leadership team to speak into decisions that are made and to provide the senior leader with a pulse of how people are feeling about what they are thinking about the operation of the organization. This information is invaluable for effective leadership. As you think about your leadership teams, think about whether you have the right people on your team. You've developed a culture of leadership development within your organization. You have people who bring value to your team through their unique perspective and skills. Your leaders have developed strong relationships with people in their circle of influence. If not, they're lone rangers and provide little value to your team. Developing a leadership team is one of the most important roles of a leader. Make sure that you're strategically developing the best team possible.